Have you ever wondered what it's going to take to finally become the person you've always wanted to be? I went from being a couch potato to an Ironman triathlete at the age of 45, and that didn't happen just overnight. Coming up, I'm going to be sharing how you can become the person you've always wanted to be using the principles discovered in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. When I was in my early 40s, I was a couch potato. I was an active dad. I was working 2 jobs, burning the candle at both ends, running a business, having a day job that was shift work, so it was a day job and afternoons and nights. It rotated through all 3, and that was a recipe for disaster. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was not eating properly. I had no idea how diet, nutrition, or sleep impacted my short-term and long-term health. I was a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. And when I thought about it, I always sort of envisioned myself as being a fit person just because I wasn't exceedingly overweight. Yes, I was packing an extra 30, 40 pounds, but because I didn't feel exceedingly overweight, I didn't feel like I was headed down the wrong path. And when it was finally time for me to get my butt in gear and to get in shape again, I did what came naturally, and that was I started running because I believed that that was something that I could do. I believed that going for a 5K run at any point was possible. And boy, was I in for a rude awakening when I went for that first run. I made it about a block down from my street, doubled over onto my knees, and I could not believe how out of shape I actually was. And you are what you believe. And at that point in time, I believed that I could run 5K, but then when I realized I couldn't run 5K, I believed I was in pretty bad shape. And that was true. I was following a recipe for disaster, not a recipe for success. And if you're like me and you think to yourself, hey, maybe I want to get in shape, maybe I have a grand vision one day of maybe running a half marathon or a marathon, just because it seems like something that is a reasonable thing to do, what I would suggest is not going out and telling all of your coworkers and your friends and your family that you're going to go out and run a half marathon or run a marathon, because you know what? That's not the type of person that you are today. You're the type of person who watches TV and sits on the couch. If you're like what I was, you're a busy person, you have a busy job, you come home from work, you're with the kids, you're helping clean up the house, and then it's time to relax. What I would suggest you do is make subtle changes in your life. And Atomic Habits was all about making small little atomic habit changes to your life so that over time, good things will start to happen. And the thing is, when you think about making those small changes, the people around you, your support mechanism, if that's your initial community, they have to believe it's possible too to give you the kind of support you need. And that takes me to our first point today, which is proof. You only believe that you're the type of person that you are because you can see that on a daily basis. If you're the type of person who sits on the couch, your proof is that you're a couch potato. If you're the type of person who gets up and walks every day, your proof is that you're a walker. If you're the type of person who goes for a 5K run every day, your proof is that you're becoming a runner. It's really all about what you see is what you believe, and what other people see is what they believe. When I signed up for my first half Ironman and I had no idea what I was doing or getting into, my wife looked at me after I had signed up on the computer for Ironman Muskoka 70.3. I had no idea what that was or what I was getting into, but at that point in my journey, I was a runner. I was the type of person who ran every day, and I was running between 10 kilometers and 20 kilometers 2 or 3 times a week. And when I explained to my wife what I had done, she said, "You're an idiot, but I believe in you." And that was because I had become the type of person who exercised every day for long periods of time. So the proof of who I was becoming on a daily basis allowed me to get the support from my friends and family who also saw that I was becoming this new type of person. Which brings me to point number 2. Your habits influence your identity. So if you're not the type of person who runs every day, but you do want to become that type of person, then start by walking. And maybe you're going to do that at lunch at work. Maybe you want the support of the people that you work with. Well, maybe if you're the type of person who eats at McDonald's every day or fast food restaurants every day, well, that's your identity. If you're the type of person who says, I'm going to go for a 5K walk every day at lunch, that becomes your new identity. My wife works about 5 minutes from our house, and her receptionist was overweight and wanted to learn how to assume a new identity, a healthier identity. And now every day I see her, if I'm out driving over the lunchtime and I see her out walking, I'm so super proud of her, but it's what I expect because she's the type of person who goes for a walk every day. I see somebody who's improving their life, not somebody who's getting stuck or falling behind. So when you think about the type of person you are, you have to remember that your daily habits influence your identity not only to yourself, but to your community, the people around you who are going to support you and who are going to believe in you because they see you doing that thing. And if they see you doing that thing, they're going to believe more is possible, and you're going to believe more is possible. And that takes me to my final point, is that none of this happens overnight. It happens one day at a time. One day at a time, you take one step further in becoming the type of person you want to be. So if you want to be a marathon runner, but you're not a runner right now, start by going for a 5K walk every day. And when that 5K walk gets boring, start sprinkling a little bit of running in between the telephone poles. Walk for a telephone pole, run for a telephone pole. Walk for a telephone pole, run for a telephone pole. Then walk one, run two. Walk one, run three. Whatever the progression is, the point is every day you show up, every day you do a little bit more, you start investing in the type of person who does that sort of thing you're trying to do. And over time, your identity switches from being the type of person who does nothing to the type of person who, in this case, walks, runs, and then you go out and run your first 5K race. And people identify you as a runner because they've seen you run every day. You've developed a habit. And then you say, well, 5K isn't enough. Maybe I'll do 10K. And they believe in you because you've done a 5K race and you run every day, so 10K doesn't seem unreasonable, right? And then you go, well, I've done a 10K. Maybe I'll do a half marathon. And people believe in you, and you believe in yourself because you prove every day that you're following this identity, and it doesn't seem unreasonable. It's all about how you set yourself up for success. And success doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years, over time. And there's no shortcuts to it, right? So to recap real quickly today, what you're looking for is, if you want to change your identity, you need to see the proof from yourself on a daily basis that you are willing to put in the work, the time, the effort, whatever it is, and that's what you'll believe. If you see it, you'll believe it. And then your new habit, your new daily habit, whatever it might be, that will start to become your new identity. You've got the proof that you do this every day. And that's the key. Keep doing it every single day. And over time, you'll improve. They say that, to master the art of something requires 10,000 hours. It's kind of funny. I tried to do the math on it not too long ago, but over the last 18 years, how many hours I've trained as a triathlete. And the numbers are somewhere in the 40,000 hours mark. Like, it's crazy. To think back that over 18 years I've done that kind of volume, that kind of training. It is kind of nuts. But it just serves as proof. And if I went out tomorrow and said I'm signing up for an Ironman, absolutely nobody would be surprised. If I actually said I'm going to sign up for an ultra Ironman, like the Norseman, nobody's going to be surprised because I've already established the identity of being that type of person who does these sorts of things. So if you want to change your identity, start one day at a time. The proof is in what you do. And when you start to see it and you start to believe it, so will everybody else around you. And as I mentioned yesterday, community is so, so important. So if you're getting started on this new journey of inspiration and motivation, well, I've got a great video for you tomorrow. It's going to be right here. And that video will all be about the difference between being inspired and being motivated. Now, speaking of inspired and motivated, we are now on day 12. So hopefully you've got a calendar like this at home. Hopefully you've got 30 days marked off. because after 3 days, you've started a new habit. And that new habit that you've started, even just creating this calendar, I don't care what your goal is, but creating this calendar for 30 days means you're going to start a new habit. After 3 days of continued activity, that is now a new habit for you. And if you follow this idea of community, right, social incentives, right, we're all part of a group here, we're all trying to move forward together. If you look at that immediate reward of getting that check mark, that dopamine every day, and then proof of progress that you're moving forward, this is becoming the type of person. Right here, I'm becoming the type of person who carves out 20 minutes every day to create a YouTube video and post that up onto my YouTube channel. That's part of what I'm doing here. I'm starting to see the proof that I can put this into my day and have it be a part of my day and be the type of person who creates content every day, because I make that one of my non-negotiables for the type of person that I want to be. It's not rocket science, but anyway. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and if you've got a comment, a question, leave it in the comments. I mean, we would love to connect with you and have conversations with you about your goals, what you're trying to achieve, and how any of the topics that I'm talking about might be able to help you. If you've got a question, odds are other people have the same question. They're just, you've got to be the brave person who steps up and asks the question. Because what I can tell you and what I know is that people don't like putting their hand up and asking questions because they feel silly. This hopefully is an opportunity for you to ask questions in the comments, and we'll be able to give you a great answer, hopefully, that's going to inspire you to keep moving forward and stay self-motivated. Thanks, and have a great day.